Hey there, folks. Good evening. We are opening up with a live look of Centennial Olympic Park. A gorgeous evening, a dry evening, though a cloudy evening across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. A good evening to you. I'm Atlanta News First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here to bring you a check of the First Alert forecast. We do have a lot of weather to talk about. Certainly rain is on the way, but we knew it was going to take a little bit of time to build in, and we have been able to push back the timeline over the past, 2, 3, 4 days. You may have noticed that, how we are now expecting the bulk of the rain to be late tonight, maybe some more drizzle, 9, 10, 11, and then the steadier light to moderate rains in the forecast early Black Friday morning, really persisting through midday, and then a break, and then another round of rain as we get into Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then a third round of rain, probably more thunderstorms on the forecast, in the forecast Wednesday as the next front approaches. The next change in air mass arrives and colder air is back in the forecast. But before we get to the extended forecast to complete 7-day, let's take you outside in a sense. We'll take you to radar. Basically, radar is detecting what is going on outside. That's the fact that rain, while it's very spotty, we do have a little bit of moisture here. Steady drizzle, some light rain into the Midlands of South Carolina, moving up into the upstate. Also some patchy drizzle moving through the far east metro up towards Clark County, Athens, kind of just east of Atlanta proper and the metro. Carrollton, you're dry. Cleveland, Randolph counties, you are dry in East Alabama, but look at this little shower to your south and west. We are starting to see rain increase here. Southwest Birmingham metro, another little bit of rain kind of due west of LaGrange, building to the north and east into North Georgia here over the next few hours. And of course, expanding the view, look at all of that rain that is building north and eastward. This big slug of moisture will be building north and eastward overnight tonight into North Georgia late tonight and early tomorrow morning. I want to welcome everyone. If you are watching on Atlanta News First Facebook page, if you're watching on YouTube, appreciate that. Again, here is a look at the Facebook page right now. A couple folks commenting in, and we also have some comments on the YouTube page. Going to give it just a few more moments as folks pile in and let the comments come in, and then I'll go back through the feeds and I'll answer the questions as they come in. But if you're watching on Roku, Amazon Fire, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, maybe in the news app, the weather app, thanks for watching. But if you have any weather questions, any comments, concerns about the forecast, Atlanta News First on Facebook, a like and a follow. On YouTube, a like and a follow. Even if you don't want to like or follow, you can go to those threads right now, even while you're watching on another device here, on another platform maybe, and ask your weather questions. Okay, let's check out that hour-by-hour forecast. Another way you can get the forecast as well is in the Atlanta News First Alert Weather app. Just search First Alert Weather in your app or Google Play Store. Or if you have another phone on you, you might be able to scan that QR code upper right-hand portion of the screen, and you'll be prompted to download the app. All right, so here we are this evening. Lots of clouds. Rain chance is there. It's isolated, though, 11 p.m. midnight. But notice how the switch kind of turns on after midnight. That rain chance steadily climbs into tomorrow morning. So for the early Black Friday shoppers, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, that is when the rain chance will really start to increase. And we have some questions on Facebook about that. Mercedes Nieves, thank you for watching on Facebook, Atlanta News First, the account that she's commenting on. Mercedes, when will the rain arrive in Buford? You could see some sprinkles before 9 p.m. I think you really start to notice the drizzle at midnight, 1, 2 a.m., and you're going to wake up to, if you're not up during that time, by the time you're up, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up to wet streets and at least some drizzle falling from the sky. So early tomorrow morning is when the rain kind of builds in, at least on a steady sense. But you may have some drizzle as early as 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. Again, if you have any questions about when the rain arrives in your neighborhood, your community across North Georgia, there is the Atlanta News First Facebook page to ask your questions. Valerie is watching from Temple, saying that's a lot of rain. Surely is. We have a lot of moisture to our south and west, and while not every single shower will make it into North Georgia, a good chunk of that rain will, which is why it's important to keep an eye on the forecast. We're not talking flooding rains, and we're not talking any severe weather, but nonetheless, light to moderate rain, steady wet weather in the forecast late tonight, early tomorrow morning. BJ Lipwe, thank you for watching on Atlanta News First YouTube page, waving back at you as well. Back to that forecast, again, out the door tomorrow morning. It says Atlanta, Georgia there, Mercedes, but that applies to Buford. Rain is going to be falling by 4 a.m., and I think for you'll have enough to wet the streets to be noticeable probably before then. Maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Could have a little bit of drizzle even before that. But steadier rains out the door early tomorrow morning. Kind of a gloomy start, not even kind of, surely a gloomy start to your Friday. Lots of clouds, but the rain chance peaks morning, and by noon we're back to a 40% chance of rain, so hit or miss showers in the forecast. And going into the afternoon, I think that we'll continue to dry out a bit as temperatures warm back into the upper 50s, lower 60s for lunchtime. So a cool day, but it's not going to be cold. We have certainly already had far colder so far this fall season. And I don't think that tomorrow is really going to go down as a cold day, but it will be cool enough, certainly for the light jacket. Here is another version of the hour-by-hour forecast, this including all of our communities. And for those who are asking about Beaufort up in Gwinnett, here's a closer look. Notice by 10, 11 o'clock, we start to see a little more rain developing to our south and west and moving into metro Atlanta. And we'll pause this at 2 a.m. And of course, Beaufort is right about here. And it's raining at that time. 2 a.m. Also a little bit of rain in Canton. Also probably already has been raining in Carrollton by that point for a while. Same story, Atlanta, LaGrange, Wedowee, Alabama, Cleveland, Randolph counties there. Dalton seeing some moisture. Clayton may be escaping the rain at 2 a.m., but this moisture is building to the north and the northeast. It'll be in your neck of the woods maybe by 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. A little bit periodic, though, the further north you go. It'll be less persistent up in the mountains. Nonetheless, some moisture there. Off and on showers, maybe not as steady of a rain in the forecast. Let's see. Matt on Facebook saying, I asked you last night what the average temp was this time of year, and I heard you throw that in on your forecast tonight on TV. Yeah, we did mention it. Matt did mean to answer back. In fact, I can have the specifics for you. I'm going to look it up because we're going to go back to yesterday. We're in a time of year where the averages are changing very quickly as we transition seasons. So do want to give you the specifics, but I also, I'm not sure if you saw my comment back there, but Matt, I did comment back where you were wondering about the average temperature because it varies pretty wildly across the state this time of year. Atlanta will have one number, Clayton, Georgia may have another, Athens may have another, and down in Macon may have another, far south metro and on south. So Matt, if you have a specific, average you're curious about, or you're asking about Atlanta, that's kind of like a general average we can give you, but we can get a little bit more specific than that. But yeah, we did throw that in. We did chat about it last night and then on TV. Today we talked about averages, basically, low to mid 60s in the general sense, kind of our average for Atlanta and points just south. But tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up to temperatures in the lower 50s. That is certainly not that cold and warmer than it should be for an average low temperature, which low temperatures are in the morning typically. And notice how the rain, it continues to build back. Here we go, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, steady rains around. But here we are at noon, some spotty rain showers, but notice how most of the rain is south and east of Atlanta. Just a couple spotty showers in here. Much drier, Dalton, Clayton, Rome. You didn't get that much rain up in the mountains by this point, and I think by noon tomorrow, whatever rain you did get is now shifting to the south and to the southeast. So high temperatures tomorrow, we do manage once again some low to mid 60s, right around average, but that does depend on exactly where you live. And again, it's not going to feel too cold, but yeah, it's going to be cool with all the clouds and the gloom around, the fact that temperatures really aren't all that warm. It's going to be probably, in my opinion at least, worthy of a light jacket, especially if you're out waiting in those Black Friday shopping lines. If you're outdoors in the rain, you're going to want a light jacket, something that wicks away moisture, of course, as well. So the average temperature in Atlanta is 61, and the average low, that's the high temperature, and the average low temperature for yesterday's date is 42. Keep in mind, we're in the time of year where these are going to be dropping, changing pretty quickly as the days go on, I should say, and as we slide from fall back into winter. So the average lower 40s, lower 60s for Atlanta, colder north up in the mountains, a little milder to the south, down towards Macon and Warner Robins. All right, let's talk about that hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow. We're going to lay out what it may look like as far as first alerts. And here is the idea. Generally, the morning into early afternoon, that's when rain may be most widespread tomorrow. That's when it is going to be more widespread. And then tapering off into the afternoon, possibly before 3 p.m. I think from morning, sunrise, the time you're up, to lunchtime, wettest. And then after lunch, under the afternoon and the evening, we'll keep the gloom. Going to be hard to have any sunshine, but rain becomes spottier. And tomorrow evening, I think more clouds than anything else. We could have some fog, could have some drizzle, spotty rain showers, but as far as widespread rain, we'll get a break tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So for Friday Night Football, tomorrow. And reminder, we do have the big game on Peachtree TV. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV. You can stream the big game there tomorrow evening, and it looks dry. Yeah, the field may be wet, the turf may be wet, but it looks dry, drying out as early as noon. So by 8 p.m., even the good old bleachers could be pretty dry, and I don't think you really need the umbrella, but could be a little bit of drizzle tomorrow evening. And then we're tracking a second round of rain as we get into the late Saturday night, early Sunday morning time period. But first, before we talk about that batch in particular, well, let's talk about rain totals across the south, the southern plains, the Gulf Coast, the southeast. This is a far-reaching storm system, very large storm system that's spinning over the state of Texas. They're having 5, 7, 8 inches of rain from the upper Texas coast back into central Louisiana and Mississippi. So from Houston to Lake Charles, New Orleans, Jackson, inches of rain in this setup. Also some heavy rain in Texas, even some heavy snow in northwest Texas. But for us, I'm going to zoom down in here, and you probably see that text there on the map, an average of 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain. A couple spots, maybe 2+ inches. We have brought this down just a bit. Tomorrow morning's batch in particular, not looking quite as heavy. Never was looking like a flooding setup or anything like that, but it has trended a little bit lighter with rainfall accumulations. Thus, the whole picture, the whole kind of scenario trending just a little bit drier. Okay, Jennifer Deal on Facebook, Atlanta News First. How will the drive be in the morning around 8 a.m. coming from Noonan, Georgia to Biloxi, Mississippi? Jennifer, you will be driving into rain tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. As you leave Noonan, Coweta County, it's going to be raining out the door. You're going to be dealing with some wet streets. Now, as soon as you head out the door, you may get a little bit of a break by that point, but I do think at one point or another, you're going to be driving into rain. And I think at the very least, out the door tomorrow morning, you're going to begin your trip with some wet roadways. So if you're driving 85 southwest, headed back into Alabama and eventually connecting maybe I-10 to Gulfport, Biloxi, you're going to be driving into some wet weather. In fact, we do have a forecast model that has a little bit more of a regional view. So I'm going to take you back to our weather graphics. And I will bring up that forecast model. Again, this is a regional view. And here we are this evening. Biloxi is, hopefully you can see the mouse. Looks like, actually you can't see my mouse, but you know where Biloxi is if you're driving there. The Mississippi Gulf Coast, and here we are this evening, overnight tonight. Rain mainly to the north of there. Here is noon Friday. It is raining in Atlanta, raining in North Georgia, but notice down in Biloxi, Mississippi, you have the gloom. You have spotty rain showers, but not too much rain. But watch what happens in Gulfport, Biloxi as we get into Saturday. You do have rain moving in from the south and west. By Saturday afternoon and evening, could be a broken line of showers and thunderstorms moving through. I think the stormiest weather is to your north, but some rain there along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Saturday afternoon and evening. And then you're clearing out, you're drying out, and Sunday is going to be a much nicer day, Jennifer. So it does look like you will be dealing with some rain out the door. Jennifer Deal on Facebook asking, how will the drive be in the morning around 8 coming from Noonan, Georgia to Biloxi, Mississippi? I think the wettest part of that trip, it is here in North Georgia. You're going to be dealing with some gloom the whole ride, maybe a spotty rain shower, but consistently pretty damp here for that kind of northern accent of that I-85 drive here in North Georgia. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon and you're making your way down to the Gulf Coast, you'll be drying out a bit. In Biloxi at least, maybe spotty rain shower, lots of clouds. And then rain returns for you along the Mississippi Gulf Coast Saturday afternoon and evening. Could be a line of thunderstorms moving through the Gulf Coast, and then Sunday it is looking much better. And the similar story here in Atlanta. We're going to have storms move in late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Again, this is a look at that second round of rain. We'll back it up just a bit. Notice the clock upper left-hand corner, 8 p.m. Saturday, lots of gloom, spotty rain shower. 11 p.m. storms getting closer. And late Saturday night, early Sunday morning is when the storms race through. Some models a little later, some a little earlier, but in general, overnight Saturday into the first bit of your Saturday morning, storms move through, but by noon, storms are well east of metro Atlanta and moving away from us, and drier, sunnier conditions build in during the day Sunday. So certainly kind of a recovery. Back half of the weekend is looking nicer than the first half, though Saturday, a lot of clouds, but that rain holding off until late in the night, early Sunday morning. Also watching Atlanta News First on YouTube, a lot of folks viewing there. We haven't had any new questions, but hello to you again, BJ, if you're still watching Atlanta News First on Facebook as well. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, those two social media platforms, a place to be. Ask your weather questions, address any forecast concerns that you may have. And if you're watching on Roku, Amazon Fire, the news app, the weather app, Atlanta News First Alert Weather app, that's a good resource with the rain moving in. Appreciate the viewership. Thanks for tuning in. We'll go ahead and bring up that 7-day forecast for you. And tomorrow, again, first alert, rain is a guarantee, mainly early in the day, between sunrise and noon, probably the wettest as far as the daytime hours are concerned. And then tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, good chunk of Saturday is gloomy, but it's mostly dry. And then Saturday night into more so Sunday morning, first alert, a round of rain and some thunderstorms sweeping through. I think by church Sunday, by lunch Sunday, it's improving. Sunday afternoon, surely not only drying out, but clearing out pretty quickly. Monday's a gorgeous day. Tuesday is a nice day, but could have some more clouds rolling back in, maybe an isolated shower or two. And then Wednesday, that is when the rain chance really starts to peak here. A line, most likely, in a classic fall fashion. You know those lines of showers and thunderstorms that they move in quick, they move out quick, and ahead of them you're warm, and then behind them you clear out and you turn colder. It's that setup for Wednesday, and there could be a strong to severe thunderstorm or two across North Georgia with that Wednesday first alert. So tomorrow, no risk of severe weather. Sunday morning, we're not really concerned about severe weather, though there could be a couple of thunderstorms. But for Wednesday, that risk of strong to severe thunderstorms, while not high, it is a little bit greater than compared to the previous two rain events, rain chances you see in that first alert forecast. And then colder weather returns next Thursday, and it could linger, at least some chillier stuff on into next weekend. Again, we're streaming live across all platforms. We've been chatting weather for about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Haven't seen too many new questions come in. Atlanta News First on Facebook, nor on YouTube, so I appreciate everyone involved, all the comments coming in. A reminder, you can always find me on Facebook, Cutter Martin, Cutter Martin, on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, even if we're not in one of these live feeds, and not just me, any member of the First Alert Weather team. That's Ella Dorsey, Rodney Harris, Frank Campagna, Jennifer Valdez, Courtney Jacobazi, the entire team, Alexandra Steele as well. We are here to answer your weather questions, address any comments, concerns, and you can reach out to us at any time. I hope you have a wonderful evening. We are back on TV tonight, Atlanta News First at 11 p.m. The 9 and the 10 o'clock hours on Peachtree TV have been preempted, but Atlanta News First, we're back on TV at 11. Hope you join us. If not, that forecast is at the Atlanta News First website, atlantanewsfirst.com/weather, also in the Atlanta News First Alert Weather app. Have a wonderful rest of your Thanksgiving.